Michael Bay has struck again with Ambulance, directed by, wait for it, literally just said the name, so it should come as no goddamn shock, Michael Bay himself, the man who directed Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Bad Boys 2, What You Gonna Do When We Wreck All These Goddamn Cars for No Reason, because we don't have any good writing, let's just wreck some more cars. What You Gonna Do, okay, enough of that. He's also responsible for the Transformers franchise, which somehow got a lot of movies out of it, despite the fact that even though there's a good lore and a lot of, fans that really, really like the stuff, he just decided to blow shit up, which kind of worked for a while. And then got to the point where, okay, what else you got? Oh, you're just going to blow shit up. And then you're just going to keep recycling the same goddamn story, and you're just going to make it the most Michael Bay movies ever. So depending on your opinion of Michael Bay movies, there are good Michael Bay movies, like the aforementioned Bad Boys and The Rock, and even Bad Boys 2 to an extent, though it wasn't really all that great. It did take everything and pumped it up like crazy. Then there's bad Michael Bay movies. Let's be honest, Armageddon is a bad Michael Bay movie in my personal opinion. I liked it when I was, 17, but in retrospect, it was sizable leaps in logic. While it was kind of fun, it was also really fucking stupid, and Ben Affleck cried like a little bitch. Pearl Harbor also falls under the bad category in my personal opinion, though it had Kate Beckinsale. I still would, and you still would too. But then there's atrocious Michael Bay. Do you want to guess what category Ambulance falls under? Think about the beginning letter of each of those. Good, bad, and atrocious. That's the key for Ambulance. This is streaming on Peacock, aka The Cock, and was out in theaters, and apparently was made for about $40 million in just under 40 days. And given the scope of this movie and the massive amount of car chases and camera work that went like this, we're going to go all fancy and everything. We're going to sweep around and oh God, that was really bad, goddamn bad. But just sweeps and does all this dipping stuff and everything to make it stylish and slow-mo. And people trying to overact like crazy. And characters that weren't well defined, and they just throw us into the action and assume we will care about these characters by the end of the movie. Can you fucking guess what I felt about this movie from the beginning? I'll give you an idea. I wanted to do this repeatedly within the first 20 minutes. I hated this movie. I absolutely loathed, despised, couldn't fucking stand this movie. It was atrocious. It was badly written by Chris Fedak. I assume that's how you say the name. He did TV series like Chuck, which was fine, but was also a TV series. This is his first feature film that he has done, and by Christ, can you tell? You can do an action movie with cliches, cliched characters, and as long as you make it fun, there's nothing wrong with that. This movie is basically just one long series, like a long series of chases. It rarely slows down, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you gave a damn, but I'll tell you what I didn't. I didn't give a damn. I didn't give a damn about any of the fucking people in this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a terrific goddamn actor, is a career criminal who had a father that was a career criminal. I will talk about a little more in spoilers, named Danny Sharp. And he befriended a man named Will Sharp, who got adopted into his family, played by the guy that was in the Candyman sequel from last year. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name because I don't want to disrespect him, but he's very good. He's a very good actor. Wasn't good in Candyman. Nobody was good in Candyman. Nobody wanted the Candyman sequel. It was fucking shit. But there is a paramedic also played by Asa Gonzalez, an absolutely gorgeous goddess from Bloodshot, one of the only good things about that movie. That was the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic hit. I saw The Hunt that day, and then Bloodshot. Yeah, it's fitting that I would decide to do that. This is streaming on Peacock, aka The Cock. It was out in theaters, didn't do all that well, and when I saw it was out on, Amazon Instant Video or Prime Video, I'm like, okay, let me see. I'm not paying $20 for it, and I'm really glad I didn't pay $20 for it. Now, a lot of people were telling me that A, this is good, and B, I should review it. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit down. And I had a few questions when I came into this. Why is this movie almost 2.5 hours? Why did this movie instantly have slow-mo and weird camera panning within the first few minutes like we're trying to be The Rock? He tried to recreate The Rock with the chases and, make it homage to Bad Boys 2, Electric Boogaloo, and The Rock with all the car chases and all that stuff. I'm surprised he didn't find a way to have the ambulance turn into a goddamn giant robot. Michael Bay, at the peak of his powers, can actually do some good shit. The aforementioned Bad Boys and Rock. And then he, when left to his own devices like this, while it is impressive he managed to get this much out of $40 million and apparently hired real trauma team members, real snipers, 52 LAPD cops, and other people to be actors in this movie, side, bit players, that's fine. There's nothing wrong from a production standpoint with this movie. It's just everything around it. I didn't give a shit about any of the characters from the word go. They tried to have an emotional investment in Will, the Candyman actor, and because of why he got wrapped up in this whole thing. If you don't know what the plot, such as it is, Danny's a career criminal, has a chop shop-like thing, but then decides to tell Will, who has been on the phone trying to get his wife treatment for her cancer, get some surgery, experimental, and insurance won't cover much or won't cover at all. He's trying to work odd jobs, save up money, and help out. Considering that he lives in Los Angeles, that's going to be a little bit tough because of the rent prices, but I digress. He seems like a good guy. And he's all upset because he can't get a hold of the right people. And then we cut to Cam, who is a great paramedic, but also just sees it as a job. But later will she see it as anything other than a job. So then we get the Michael Bay slow-mo and camera work and sweeping stuff and everything. And we get all this stuff that's supposed to be fancy. You don't even know. We're in the fast lane from LA to not Tokyo because there's no road that goes from LA to Tokyo. Not until the device is complete. And then we know that they are friends, that Will and Danny are friends, because we get brief flashbacks of people playing them as kids. And we see photographs. Look at this photograph. Every time I see it, it doesn't make me laugh because it reminds me this movie. Am I being a little bit too angry during this? Because believe me, I'm tamping it down because this is fucking atrocious. So, within 20 minutes of the movie, by the way, there's this idea. Danny says, hey, we're going to knock over this bank. I need you. And it's a $32 million heist. And it'll be easy to do because I have this all planned out. Narrator, he did not have it all planned out. Jake Gyllenhaal has been in some great goddamn movies. Zodiac is so underappreciated, and I like Brokeback Mountain because I thought it was a good story. Wasn't a great movie in retrospect, but it was a great story. It was fine. Wish I could quit you, boy. And then one of the actors did. Oh, this is going well. So, I wrote down several times, Eiza Gonzalez is gorgeous. She's a goddess. She's beautiful. And she's better than this material, I will say that much. I think that if she was allowed to actually, be in something that was written by somebody that wasn't the equivalent of, as far as brain power to a sea cucumber, then that would be something. Now, maybe this, Fedek guy actually has some talent. It ain't on display here. All the writing is basically cliched, hacked out, and we just introduce characters, throw characters. We instantly go into this heist. The heist basically goes tits up. They hijack an ambulance with a cop that's been shot, and then the chase is on. It's on the screen for 2 hours and 16 fucking minutes. If they had cut the slow-mo out of this and the panning camera work out, you know what they would have saved? About 30 fucking minutes. This movie had no right to be this long. He tried to make it, epic like The Rock or Bad Boys, and I even think the first Bad Boys actually was under 2 hours. Michael Bay is known for stringing things out to the point that they're at their breaking point well before the end of the goddamn movie. He doesn't build shit. He just keeps throwing shit at the screen and hoping that it sticks. They do, the dialogue is so goddamn bad. At one point, they say, losers whine, winner go home and fuck the prom queen from The Rock. A vastly better Michael Bay movie. And they also reference The Wrestler. I know The Wrestler, The Rock. The writing is bad. It's really, really, really bad. And you shouldn't expect great writing in an action movie where guys steal an ambulance. But unfortunately, you don't care about any of these. Some people do. If you did, if you like this movie, that's fine. A lot of people told me that I would probably like this movie. You were wrong. You were very, 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 very wrong. And you should apologize for being wrong. No, I'm kidding. Everybody can like whatever they want, but I went in with low expectations. I didn't expect to really get much out of this movie, and I somehow got less. I got less. So, basically this movie is just people doing stupid shit on top of stupid shit. There's nobody worth rooting for. And sure, there's a little bit of a side plot about the American healthcare system being fucked up and people having to get, to basically cut out organs, literally, to sell on the black market to pay for surgeries. And that's bullshit. But god damn it, this movie had no redeemable characters. Any story arc just went, by the wayside because we needed more explosions and more cars being wrecked. And, well, Will also is a former war vet, so he knew how to drive in, tough situations. Okay. Nobody in this movie is worth rooting for, and nothing is good about it. Again, technically speaking, this movie looks great. And it's hollow. It's a shell. It's a hollowed out motherfucking shell of a movie. It's bad. It is explosively bad with horrendous writing. I don't know how much, writing experience Chris had before he got into Hollywood, but more would have helped. Maybe this is the one they could get on the cheap. Michael Bay keeps making the same goddamn recycled movie. This is basically, like I said, the Bad Boys and The Rock mixed together. And I'm frustrated, so let me get into spoilers. Because this might run a little bit long. I got some things to talk about here. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers now. So if you're still watching, here's a fucking spoiler section. So cops notice that there's this guy, or there's these vehicles going into this parking garage for this bank, because apparently banks have parking garages in this movie. They don't notice the homeless guy that's actually remarkably clean and also working for the FBI, the feds, or the cops, or somebody. There's also another side plot about people that Danny works for that knew his dad that help him out with money and stuff. And the $32 million, they're gonna get the $32 million. Boy, this is a complete shiz what I wrote down. Every character is dog shit and bad everything. Help me, please. I'm writing this within the first 30 minutes of the movie. Why were the colors of the doors in the bank from the Green Power Ranger? Like they cloned the Green Power Ranger. Don't know why this stuff stuck out to me. And then they do a big old shootout that's supposed to be all epic and everything. The camera work sweeps down a building. Woohoo! It's like they're Slim Pickens at the end of Doctor Strangelove. And what bank has an escalator is what I'm wondering. Why in the world were people running towards the gunfire? There were shootouts in the street because they're taking it to the streets. Michael McDonald was totally wrong. It's a shootout in the street. And, the cop got shot. So now they're in the back of an ambulance. And Cam's there as the paramedic. And then they go on this chase. And Cam has to basically use her wits to save this cop. But also it turns out that he got shot in the spleen at one point during another firefight. While negotiations are happening between a bunch of cliched individuals, somebody had a giant mastiff that apparently is Michael Bay's dog. The dog was the best actor in the fucking movie. Sorry to anybody that actually tried in this movie, but there was no saving it. No saving it, despite the technical achievements of $40 million, with a budget of $40 million. And they hired real people and, got real people there. Great. It's like they did Battleship, only they did Battleship worse. Yes, this was worse than Battleship. Which is saying something because Battleship wasn't good. So, the cop got shot in only 30 years from retirement. Damn. But he's not dead. Spoiler, he doesn't die. Suddenly, we get more meta commentary, with this FBI guy named Hanson that, not Hanson, because if only I could listen to Hanson music during this. If nobody has any idea who Hanson is, you probably have no idea what that reference means. He's in therapy, and then this one woman says, wait, about robbing banks? People still rob banks? This is the kind of fucking writing we're getting. The kind of fucking goddamn writing we're getting here. So, the car chases continue to happen. More cars get blown up and destroyed and shattered and beat up. This is taking forever. God, I hate this, is what I kept writing down. And I was going to give it a chance, and the movie instantly lost me within the first 30 minutes. Danny and Will continue to argue because Will's trying to do this for the good. Danny's just a career criminal. His dad was psychotic. Danny studied in, FBI tactics and everything in college that you apparently can research at just any college. And then they got to do surgery over the phone because the cop got shot in the spleen, and she used a hair clip to close off the wound. Sure, okay, why not? Why the fuck not? Why not? Why not? Just take freaking planetary leaps in logic at this point. Pulls his spleen! Pulls his spleen! Nobody gets that. Jesus. None of the characters are fleshed out. Danny has this idea. He calls on a phone that, by the way, these cops can track. And, hey, guy that is still at my shop, I need you to get to Boyle Heights and bring people that are going to spray paint this deal very badly, this ambulance very badly. You have 45 seconds to cover this thing in paint. It's an ambulance. I think we could tell what it is, even if you covered it completely. You can tell it's an ambulance. Who thought this plan was a good idea? So anyway, then Will and Danny get to this one particular area after another shootout where a guy gets shot. And it was the son of this boss that Danny knew that worked with his dad. More, and by the way, they said before that guy got shot, they had this grand idea of painting this ambulance. They set up a really, really nice lowrider car with a dummy in it. Fred Sanford's son, eat your heart out if you're still here. And they had a Gatling gun in there and did that. And they also had an ambulance that they put in there, a decoy ambulance that they used to blow up part of the barricade, the police barricade there. I wrote down the volcano had more logic, and they had a guy that didn't boil to death despite being surrounded by fucking lava. So anyway, then the boss gets upset because his son got killed. He wants to take the paramedic and the cop that was shot and has a clip on his spleen, but is still alive. Still alive. Mastiff's still alive too, by the way. And then they are yelling at each other, and then there's a shootout, and then Danny gets shot by Will after Will gets shot because Cam didn't realize that Will was coming into the ambulance. And while this all happens, Will had been on the phone with his wife saying, I got the job, everything, all this kind of stuff. Okay, he's trying to smooth it over. Will, while being shot, is trying to stuff some of this money in a bag so his wife can pay for the experimental treatment. Ignoring the fact that even if the money's in bags, I assume the bags got ripped in would probably be covered in blood, literal blood money. So again, now interplanetary leaps in logic, but whatever. Maybe I'm just thinking too much into this, but this movie didn't put any thought into itself. And then Will gets saved because the cop basically says, he saved my life. So I assume he's okay. I assume he's fine. Everybody's fucking fine. Everybody's fine after this. Elisa Gonzalez looked gorgeous. This was an atrocious atrocity. A crime against Hollywood. A waste of actual talent. A waste of technical achievements. If this isn't my worst movie of the year, it's overly long, by the way. If they cut out the slow-mo, if they'd cut out the camera pans, probably would have been 96 minutes. Might have been more tolerable. But no, Michael Bay had to get all his shit in, and then get more of his shit in, and then get shit on top of shit on top of shit. To the point, it was just, this is 100% bad. Just 100% fucking bad. F. Obviously. If this is not my worst movie of the year, this year might be cursed. Agree, disagree what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Fuck ambulance. See you soon.